How you guys doing? Enjoying your convention so far? Yes. After the short 2-year break? Well, this is Fursuiting 101. I'm Midnight Wolf. I'm part of AV staff here. You'll see me in main events or around. How many here, is this your first time suiting, or do you plan to have a suit soon? Okay, a few. Everything I'm about to tell you is stuff that I found works for me. It doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. It doesn't mean there aren't other ways to do it. If you find one that works for you, by all means, do what works for you. If any of this works for you, fine by me. But this is what I found works for myself. I've kind of broke things down into a couple of different categories. I'm going to start with what I have listed as your first time suiting. If you have just gotten it, I highly recommend wearing it at home. Walk around your house. Because I see one, if you mind standing up for me real quick. This is a planigrade suit. Mine is a digigrade suit. It has extra padding to give a bit more of a shape to it, and it adds a lot of extra room to it. You'll bump into a lot. And if you have stairs, try stairs in your house. I highly recommend that. Just because the paws that you have are much bigger than you're normally wearing shoes or nothing at home as you are walking around. I highly recommend doing stairs. At least that way, if you do happen to trip, fall, at least there's a handrail, something you can grab onto, and no one really sees you. See what your limitations are as far as vision, depending on the style of suit. Where like that one's a toonie style suit, has a little more, a wider vision, where mine is a realistic suit and I have tear duct vision. It is basically this in both eyes. It is straight in front of you, nothing to the sides, and about from here up is all I can see. So depending on the style of suit you have, you'll get an idea of vision limitations, what you can see, what you can't see. And as you walk around, you may want to look down fairly often, especially at a convention here where it is an all-age convention. You may have little kids that they're up here, and I can only see here. I can't see them at all. So, check your limitations for vision. If you want to, looking in a mirror to kind of see where different parts of the suit are, such as the ears, maybe the muzzle is. If you want to cover your eyes, it may not be quite where yours are or where the ears are to kind of if you want to give a shy look or so whatever you're trying to play, especially with kids. Just see where they are so you kind of have a better idea of where to grab, because if your ear is here, it may be up here on your suit. Any questions on that so far? I'm going to move into what I've listed as food and drink. Staying hydrated is highly recommended because you are wearing, especially if you have a full suit, a giant carpet. It is warm to wear. Partials aren't as warm, but you will still get dehydrated if you don't drink anything while in suit. There are some things to stay away from. Being in suit, you don't drink a lot of soda or coffee, because the sugar in that will actually speed up the dehydration of your body when it's already going to be fast enough, especially if you're in a full suit. You can drink Powerade, Gatorade, water. I wouldn't necessarily have to do the Gatorade or the Powerade while in suit. You can do the water because your body's going to be sweating any of the electrolytes that you would get out of that faster than it can absorb them. So after you gotten out of suit and cool off, then you can do the Gatorade or Powerade replace those electrolytes you lost during suiting. Eat good meals before getting in suit. Don't, I haven't eaten in the last 18 hours. I'm going to jump in suit. You're probably not going to make it real long. Because your body's going to be working hard, being extremely warm, active. So eat good meals. Bananas are good because of the potassium and stuff in them. I don't recommend having dairy, such as yogurt, or drinking a lot of milk before getting in suit. Because of the high heat of being in suit, it can cause it to kind of curdle in your stomach, which can be very unpleasant, especially if you're in suit. So stay away from that. If you want to have that after you've gotten out and cooled off, that's fine. Any questions on that? Some things to do, I have listed as kind of like a do's and don'ts kind of thing. Like if you go home from work and you want to jump in suit, I recommend showering before you get in suit, because depending on what job you do, like myself, I'm an electrician, I work outside, I sweat a lot, just as much sometimes as in suit when it's 100 degrees outside. So those scents in your body will pick up. If you sweat back in suit, it will actually transmit those scents into the suit. And washing may not always remove those scents from it. So every time you wear it after and you start sweating again, you may get that scent every time you wear it. And it gets really hard to get out. So if you shower before you get in, that way you're clean. And it just eliminates any other scents you have picked up from being outside or wherever you've been working. It's one of these things that go to the bathroom before you get in suit, because there's nothing worse than getting everything on to go, crap. Take it all back off, do your business, and then get back in suit. You'll want to use, even if a partial, some kind of Under Armour or some kind of material to absorb the sweat that your body will be producing while in suit. Under Armour makes, shirts, pants, balaclava for under the head. Even if your suit is built on one, I would probably still recommend putting a second one on, because this one you can throw in the washer. The one the suit's built on for the head, you can't put in the washer. Under Armour makes two versions of their Under Armour. There's a heat gear and a cold gear. You want the heat gear, I believe. The heat gear is for warm environments to help cool you off. If you get the cold gear, that is meant to keep you warm, which in a full suit, you really don't need help doing that. But Under Armour is just one company. There are other companies that make an under layer that you can use. It's not as pricey as Under Armour. I know some people have used like a motorcycle riding gear, an under base layer. It does the same thing as Under Armour, but they can, like during the winter when it's on sale, they picked up a bunch of sets at a really good price because it's out of season. For your first time out, don't marathon suit. Take plenty of breaks. Go 20 minutes or so, go to the headless lounge, go to your room, take your head off, get a break from the heat for a minute, drink some water, then you can go back out, have more fun, then go back, take a break. As you'll wear it, you'll get a good idea of how long you can actually last in suit. Because I know the first time I got mine, after about 15 minutes, I'm like, I'm done, get me out of this thing completely, I'm done. But your body will build up a tolerance the more you wear it. I've gotten to about 2 hours, 2.5 hours with taking breaks before I'm done, get me out of here. So you'll build it up. Don't try and do the 5 hours at one time. Just take breaks. Go until your body feels it's done. Don't push yourself. Once you're done suiting, you'll want to take a shower because obviously you're sweating. You'll feel dirty. Want to get clean. Don't set the shower to cold water and jump in, because your body will be so warm. Jumping into a cold shower will actually trigger your body to think it's going into hypothermia, like if you had fallen off into the ocean or something, or really cold water. Start with warm water, and then as you're in there, you can slowly turn it down more and more to cold as you go. Don't go straight from really hot to really cold. It's the same as if you get water from the fridge after you're in suit. That vast temperature difference can trigger the same thing. So room temperature water or slightly chilled is best, not straight cold water. It's just such a vast temperature difference from being in suit, especially if you've been in it for an hour or 2 hours. You're really warm. Your body doesn't quite know what to do with that huge temperature difference. And it does what it thinks it should, which can cause medical issues if possible. Any questions on that so far? Other tips I have, I know some suitors have you can use a cooling device under the suit. Easy cool down makes the best. That you put ice packs in, that helps. It lasts the time you can spend in suit. I know there's other products, but I don't know what they are offhand. But that's one of them. The ice packs are really easy to use. I mean, a cooler with ice in it in your room will freeze them up, and they last for, depending on where you are in a hotel like this, probably a couple hours. Outside, hour and a half, just because it's a lot warmer depending on temperature. And depending on the time of year, you may or may not need them. Like if you're doing something outside in the winter, if it's cold, wherever you may live, you don't really need that extra cooling because it's probably already cold enough outside if it's snowing. You wouldn't need the cooling vest at that point. You could just wear your suit and more than likely be fine. How many wear glasses, and we'll probably have to wear them in suit? I'm one myself. Stuff I found, because they'll fog up just about instantly, they did with me, is Rain-X they make wipes in a bottle that you can spread on with a towel. They're glass cleaner and anti-fog wipes. These work really well. Because this you can keep on your suit if you need to, head this lounge, put another coat on. I usually use the bottle and put a layer on, let it dry while I'm getting the suit on, put another layer on, and I'm just about good for like 5 or 6 hours if I wanted to without them fogging out. So if you wear glasses, or you can do contacts, but if you have to wear glasses, you will need some kind of anti-fog. They will fog up on you. And if you're out in suit, carry your ID on you and your room key. ID badges are important. Hotels are, especially if let's say your room key stops working. That happened to me at FWA 2018. Went up to the room, couldn't get in, key stopped working. You go to the front desk. Oddly enough, they're not going to give a room key to 2710 to a 7-foot-tall blue and black wolf. They wanted to see some form of ID. It goes, yes, this is your room. So carry your ID with you, room key. Some suits, mine has a pocket in the chest that you can kind of put those in. I know some people kind of shove it in their, foot paw, whatever works. If you carry a little backpack, just so it's at least on you. Any questions so far? No? Yes? Carrying your ID with you. Just cooling. The Rain-X, any auto parts store get it. Walmart has it. Probably Target. Most big box stores that sell everything will probably have it. Any auto parts store should have this. Like I said, it comes in the wipes. It also comes in a bottle that you just put on with like a cloth. I have a microfiber cloth, and I do two layers, one on both sides of the glasses, let it dry, put another coat on, and it's, like I said, it's pretty good for like 4 or 5 hours. Yes?
Yeah, also every gas station as well.
Gas stations will probably have them too. Any other questions so far? All right, next I have what I've kind of listed as some differences between suiting at a convention and if you plan to do any public suiting at a non-convention setting. At a convention, everyone here kind of has an idea, or basically an idea of what the suitor needs, their vision limitations. They may not see steps if they're sitting in a corner and not moving much. Most of them will go, hey, do you need help? You know, do you need water? Do I need to get some help for you? Or if you're out in public, all they're going to see is, oh, look at the, cute dog. I need pictures with him. They're not going to know it. You need to take your head off. You need water. You need to get out of there because you've been in there, 5 hours and it's been 90 degrees outside. You're ready to get out. They don't know that. When you're in the public, if possible, try to avoid pets, especially dogs. Some of them are going to be, okay, you're cool, let's play. Most of them, you're big, you're scary, I want nothing to do with you, and they're going to do what they think they need to do, which is protect themselves. So try, my opinion, don't go up to pets if the owner's there and the pet, I guess if they kind of show that they're okay with it, at least as long as the owner's there to have them on a leash or something, maybe approach them, but I would just not approach any pets if you can, just because you don't know how they're going to react to something like that. It's not the normal for them. Don't pick up small children. Small, squirming children with paws with very little dexterity probably won't end well, and you don't want to be responsible for dropping someone's child. So if they come up to you and they want you to hold the child, to get a picture with you, just put your hands up so they can't, put them in your hands. You can, you can say, if you want to hold the child and get in the picture with them, that's fine. But don't let them put them in your hands. You don't want the risk of dropping them. If your kids, they're shy, getting down on one knee, seem less big, or a high five might get them to come towards you, but don't push it. If they don't want it, just keep going. There'll be plenty of other kids that will think you're the most awesome thing they've seen all year. And a lot of that also depends on the style of suit you have. Where the couple of Toonie style suits here, they have a softer, more cartoonish look that the kids like. Where mine is a realistic suit, and it generally scares the small kids. Most of them run away and want their mom, which is fine. But there's always one that, at least for me, every convention thinks I'm the coolest thing ever and wants nothing to do with anyone else but me. So, but they don't want it, don't push it. They will come to you when they're ready. And if you're, especially now, if you're in the public, more important, definitely have your ID on you. Should you be at a park, wherever, or a business, who are you? Or the police do show up and, we need some kind of identification. You have something to show them. And if they ask you to leave, please leave. Any questions on that so far? No? All right. Next I have is for handlers for fursuiters. At a convention, if you've done it several times, you may or may not need a handler. For your first couple times, I would recommend someone to carry maybe your stuff with you, your phone, water bottle, just kind of walk around with you. I would recommend, if you haven't been to, let's say, this convention before or any other convention before, walk around the convention site itself, out of suit, kind of see where, okay, the headless lounge is here, there's some sharp metal spikes in the floor here I don't want to go over, whatever it may be. Walk around the convention out of suit, and then you can get in suit, and it might be easier to find, oh, I need to get to the headless lounge, oh, I know where that is, or where water stations are. Your handler will help, especially if there's the all-age conventions like this one, or if anyone goes to Anthrocon, it is a very big all-age convention. They will help with, some of the kids that run out, especially the ones from behind that you can't see. Picking the right people to be your handlers is also just as important. You need to really sit down and kind of explain what their job is. You're going to be there if I need help getting out of suit, I need water, there's kids running up, especially if you're out in the public, you may hear something but not know what it is, where it's coming from. You can work out signals, especially in the public, if you don't want to talk in suit while at a non-convention setting. If you hear something, you move a hand up to your ear, you talk to the handler, oh, I hear something, but I don't know what it is. So he can tell you, oh, that's a guy with a leaf blower over here, or it's just a car going by. But it's signals you can work out with your handler, and they should be understanding and know what their purpose is to help you get out of suit, help you get around, kind of do crowd control, especially if you're not at a convention. You don't want ones that are, oh, I just want to be with him. Oh, I see someone else here. Let me go over here. And now you're left alone. Okay, where'd my handler go? Where's my water? Where's my phone? If they have your room key, now you can't get into your room. They need to stay with you. Now, if you are in public, I would recommend probably 2 handlers to 1 suitor, just because if you are in the public, you're probably going to have more people, more kids than at a convention setting. Where here, everyone else, if they see a bunch of people swarming a suitor or kids, I would hope you jump in and kind of help, the crowd control a little bit for that suitor, besides just the handler they have, or if they don't have one. But definitely in the public, I would have at least 2, just because you don't know how many kids are going to be there, depending on where you're going. Any questions on that so far? No? All right. Caring for your fursuit. Once you're done suiting, I recommend spraying down at a convention the inside with rubbing alcohol. I don't dilute it. I know some people dilute it half and half. I don't, because it's only 70% rubbing alcohol, the other 30% is water. If you do a 50-50 mix, well, you just flipped it. It's now 30% alcohol and 70% water. So it's not really going to disinfect anything if it's mostly water. If you leave it as the 70% rubbing alcohol, it will help disinfect it until you can take it home to properly clean it. because it's not like you have a washing machine in your room that you can properly clean the suit here. For spraying it down, cheap, $2 spray bottle, and get in there, any drugstore, CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, Target, anywhere will have them. It works pretty well to spray it down. If you do plan to fly with your suit, the most you'll be able to take on a plane is 70% alcohol. They will not let 90% rubbing alcohol on the plane. It's considered flammable. So if you plan to fly, 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol is the most they'll let you take on. And it should be in your bag underneath the plane. Spray down the inside of the head with rubbing alcohol, put a fan on it. I like this one. It's USB powered and it breaks down really flat, easy to travel. It doesn't take up much space in your bag. Like I said, folds down really flat, doesn't take up a bunch of room. So if you're flying, this easily fits in your bag. I also have up here business cards for this head fan. They also make a body dryer. It collapses flat like this. Dryers that will do your hands and your feet that are all USB powered. I have business cards for them. I also have business cards for my suit maker. I don't have the head with me. It's in my room right now. For the bodysuit, you can use what I have is called a hang air dryer. I like it. It works well. It's actually made for wetsuits. It's basically an oversized hanger with a fan built into it that you can put on. I don't think I've had to wait more than about a half hour or 40 minutes, no matter how long I've been in suit, for it to dry. I even use it at home after I wash it, hang it up on that, and within an hour it's dry. It works real well. You can get it on eBay. I think it's less than like $30. It's well worth it. For washing your bodysuit at home, most of them you can put in the washing machine. You have a digigrade suit, you'll have to remove the padding. You'll turn the suit inside out, you'll put it in the washing machine on a cold cycle, and no softener. The softener can actually loosen the fur from the backing of the suit itself, and obviously if the fur comes out, it doesn't grow back as much as we wish it would. So just alleviate that and use a mild detergent. A lot of makers will recommend Woolite. It's a mild detergent, but it's still enough to clean the suit really well. But do not put them in the dryer. The suits are basically a thin plastic. Heat from the dryer will just melt it all together, and now you've just ruined your multi-$1,000 suit. So once it comes out of the washer, you can turn it proper right side out, put a fan on it, hang it up. If it's still not super wet, if it is really wet, you may need to lay it somewhere and let it dry more before you hang it up to allow it so it doesn't stretch out. The hanger dryer works well. Now, unfortunately, I'm sorry if any of you have airbrushing or plan to have a suit with airbrushing. Most of those, as far as I'm aware, cannot go in the washer. The washer will actually wash all the airbrushing out of the suit. Your maker will probably redo it, but for a charge. If you have airbrushing, the suit becomes a hand wash only item and much more tedious and time consuming to clean. The same with the heads. If any airbrushing, you're going to have to use just basically a damp rag. You can't get it super soaked because it'll actually pull all the airbrushing out of the suit. And that's most makers, as far as I'm aware, I think there's only one, maybe two, that they say you can throw the heads in the washer. I don't. Depending on most makers, the only thing they'll allow to go in is the bodysuit itself. Hands, feet, head do not go in the washer. Especially on my suit. I know some heads are built on like a foam base. Mine is a resin blank, so if it gets hit too hard or tumbles in the washer too much, it will probably crack the base, and now I have to buy a new head at whatever that maker will charge me. If you have like stains on your suit, you can use Folex as a spot cleaner. It's really good for cleaning up any like grass stains you may have on your suit, especially if you have a suit that's white, a lot of white on it. It'll help pull a lot of the dirt out of it to really keep it white. If your suit, as you wash it and you pull it out, you find it picks up like a static charge to it, most of the time with most clothes that goes away when you put it in the dryer. But since you can't put the suit in the dryer, there's a couple things you can do to get rid of it. You can kind of rub it with a dryer sheet. That will pull some of it out, or a piece of aluminum foil will pick up that charge and take it out, so the suit no longer has that kind of like static charge to it after the wash. As it comes out of the wash, you will need to brush your suit. I believe most makers, if you get a full suit from them, will give you just a standard pet brush. Most of these brushes have like a hook shape to the bristles. You actually want to use it backwards, so the hook is away from how you're pulling it on the fur. Because these brushes, if you use them on your standard dog, are made to pull fur out. If you use it backwards, it will still straighten and smooth the fur on your suit, but it won't pull it out nearly as much as if you used it the normal way to pull loose the fur and the undercoat out of your dog. And you don't want to pull that out of your suit because it doesn't grow back. If you don't have one, pet stores have them. Walmart, Myers, they all have, slicker pet brush. But if you have any questions on how to clean your suit, or you're not sure how to clean certain parts of it, contact your maker. They will be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Some makers will send a fursuit care guide that will give you how to wash it, and how to clean it, how to take care of it, things like that. And if you still have any questions, contact them. I think they will all be more than happy to go, oh yeah, you can do this, or don't do that, or have a recommendation how to clean it, because obviously they made it. Any questions on that so far? If you have a fursuit, partial, full suit, I recommend having a repair kit of some kind. It should contain things like possibly a hot glue gun, super glue, sewing needle, thread, maybe pins if you need to hold a seam together. You can buy one. Fursuit Supplies has one that has it all in a little box, but you can easily make your own. That way you can use the color thread your suit has, because they just give you general things. So it has red and green and white thread in there. I don't really need that on mine. I just basically need black and blue thread. So if you can make your own by getting whatever color threads match your suit. Sewing needle, you can get your own box and put it in. Probably easier that way. You can get stuff that matches your suit. But it's good to have on hand should you have a seam pop, a claw pop off, you can glue it back on. Even sometimes in the dealer's area, you may have someone here that can do that, but I wouldn't rely on someone being here to be able to fix it for you. I would just carry the stuff with you. Any questions so far? No. I'm going to move to storing your fursuit. Make sure your fursuit is completely dry before storing it. If you do store it and it is damp, it may get kind of a musky smell to it just because it was damp and stored in probably a closet, which is kind of dark and out of the way of any heat or AC that your house may have. Keep out of the sunlight. Even though it is colored plastic, if you leave it in the sun long enough, it will discolor. If you leave, let's say, your head on a shelf that gets a lot of sunlight, when you put it with the rest of the suit, you may find those colors no longer quite match the rest of the suit because they faded from the sun. Keep it away from high heat. Don't leave it in your car when it's 110 outside. Probably not going to make it real long. Sometimes if you feel you need to, I will store a dryer sheet or something in like the head or in the feet, just to kind of soak up any possible residual moisture there. And it does kind of leave a nice scent in the suit itself, which is nice when you go to put it on. Then I also have travel tips. If you plan to fly with your suit, hard cases work well. I know a lot of people use the Pelican cases or an action packer or a hard-sided suitcase. You can put everything in there except for the head. I would not recommend putting the head in there just because airports are about as gentle with your suitcase as FedEx and UPS is with your packages when they drop them off at your door. The head itself, you can put in a separate bag and use that as a carry-on, so at least that way it's in the plane with you and less likely to be bounced around or have someone's golf bag thrown on top of it underneath the plane. You can use hockey bags that have that thicker material. They don't get torn or ripped up quite as easy. Especially depending on the style of suit you have will also dictate how large of a bag you need. If you have a plantigrade suit, those fit real easy in most luggage. The digigrade suit, like mine, has all the extra padding. Usually I could fit 2 plantigrade suits in the same case that takes up my suit, just because of all the extra padding. So if you have a digigrade suit, be aware you're going to have to get a bigger case to fit all that extra padding. You can try to reduce some size by using the space bags that you just push down and it kind of pulls the air out of it to kind of cut down some, but it's still going to take up a lot more space than a plantigrade suit. If you get a bag with wheels on it, makes it kind of nice. Wheel around depending on where you have to go, especially at a convention. If you got to go from here across the hotel up to the 27th floor, at least you're not carrying it the whole way. Any cleaning spray, the rubbing alcohol should be in a sealed container. I still put mine in a heavy-duty Ziploc bag, so should it leak, at least hopefully it'll stay contained in that bag, just so it's not going all over the inside of your suitcase or wherever that may be. But the most important thing out of everything is just have fun. But like I said, any questions you have on how to care for it, even storing it, your maker will be more than happy to share with you how to do that. If you have questions, your maker is probably more knowledgeable on your style of suit than I am, or anyone else's just because they made it. But always have fun with this. It's puts a smile on people's face. You know, seeing giant fluffy animals, especially kids at a convention here, they thoroughly enjoy it. But everything I've told you is, like I said at the beginning, stuff that I found that works for me. If any of this works for you, great. If you have a better way to do something, or you find a way that works easier for you, by all means, do it. With that, if anyone else has any questions on any topic so far, that is all I have. Like I said, I have business cards for that head fan and a business cards from the maker of my suit. If you would like any of those, I will have them on the front of the stage here, so you can come grab them. Unless anyone has any other questions, that's all I have.
Silver Gato Man, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gato Man, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gato Man, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.